YouTube, it's Natalie. So I've seen this kind of like tag going around a lot of my favorite YouTubers. I think one of the first ones that I saw do it was Ali Glines. I thought it was really interesting, and it's a makeup collection if I wasn't a YouTuber. And you might be like, well, Natalie, you're not really a YouTuber. And that's true. I don't make money off of YouTube. I just am doing it for fun. And I kind of took it in my way as like, if I had to have a minimal makeup collection, what would those items be? What are those key items that are like hit every single point for me? Something I love, something that just can do it all if I needed to. And I'm kind of a makeup collector. I just thought it was really interesting to see if I could curate a smaller collection that had all of my favorite things that I really look for in makeup. So I did that. And some of the categories kind of have a lot of things in them. But that's because those are just truly my favorite items, and if I wasn't able to be a makeup collector for some reason, if I did have to really minimize my collection, those things are my favorite things I would obviously have more of, because there's just something addictive about those certain products, which you'll see. I think we should start first with face, and I actually don't wear foundation or concealer. I don't even own a foundation or concealer. I am looking into foundations and concealers right now. I've been looking a lot, but you can't go to stores and swatch things anymore, so I haven't really been able to, you know, color match, and I don't trust myself color matching online, especially because the reason why I stopped wearing foundation and concealer was because nothing matches my skin. And I realized that I just have such a pet peeve about base makeup that doesn't match skin. My skin is obviously super pale, and it kind of leans more neutral, like true neutral. So the thing that actually I use to kind of act as my concealer is this single eyeshadow from Colourpop. It's literally my skin tone, and a lot of people use this as like a highlighting shade, like a matte highlighting shade, or like a shade to like set their concealer on their lids or something before doing eyeshadow. But it is actually the color of my skin. And I have never found like a face powder, or I mean even a concealer that's this shade, probably because it's not meant to be a base product. But I find that just using a fluffier brush to kind of blend it under the eyes does that kind of brightening powder effect for me that like a typical brightening powder would do for anyone else, but it also kind of covers it up. One of my favorite things in makeup is doing face and like using a bunch of different blushes, and I really didn't want to be like, these are 10 blushes I would have, because I feel like the whole point of having a minimal makeup collection is that you only have like one product that does it all. And so I feel like the best for that is this. This is my favorite blush formula of all time. This is like, I wouldn't be mad if I just had this. This is the NARS Exposed Cheek Palette, and this is the like baked gelée formula. So they have like a sheen to them. They aren't matte, but they're also not shimmery. And there's a highlighter in here, but it is too deep for my skin tone, so I can easily mix that into any of the blushes to make it a shimmery blush, because I do like shimmery blushes quite a lot. And it has like every color. It has a kind of like nude for my skin tone. It has this like deeper, almost mauve-y shade. This one is kind of like, has a purple undertone, hot pink, and then like a peachy coral. And so it has like every color, and of course you can mix the colors to like, if you wanted more of like a beigey coral or like a more subtle pink. That's why I love a blush palette, is that you can mix all the colors there. You have it all in one thing. It's easy. And then of course for other formulas, because I don't think just having powder blush is right. These cream blushes from Tower 28, I only have one shade. It's in Magic Hour. Are so good. I heard so much hype about these originally from Katie Jane Hughes, who's a favorite makeup artist of mine. The hype is real and it's worth it. My only gripe is that they don't have enough shades. They have 3 shades. It's this kind of beige color, which is nice on my skin tone. There's a hot pink and like a really intense orange. And while I like those shades, I just wish there was more. So I do think this formula is amazing and I really love this shade. It goes with absolutely every single look, anything. You could like not even wear makeup, and if you wanted to do like just one touch, you could put this on. But I do think it's a winner. For liquid blush, this is the Glossier Cheek Paint. This one's in the shade Storm, and I'm looking to get more shades of these. These are really good. They have kind of a natural matte finish when they dry down, and they really stay all day. They're very, very pigmented. So no matter what skin tone you have, they'll totally work. And for me, like, I only need to use a little bit, and I think it's just a really nice formula. I like these on the eyes actually, which is weird because usually I don't like creams on the eyes, but the way that these dry down is actually really nice, and I do really like these. This is my kind of more like excessive category. Highlighter. Highlighter is one of my favorite things. I just really like it. I think that it totally transforms the face. Transforms the face. I like to use the same highlighter that I use on my face on like my inner corners and in my eyes. On my eyes. Can't speak today. These highlighters for me are just, they do everything I need them to do, and I like variety in highlight, so that's why I picked these. This is the Natasha Super Glow. This is just my perfect like champagne for my skin tone shade. This is the Super Glow Duochrome highlighter in the shade 01 Fair, and it looks pretty deep in the pan actually, but when you blend it out on the skin, there isn't that cast. You can see like the dent in here. I like never go through products, and this one is just such a favorite. It really is nice. It's just the perfect kind of beige highlight for my skin tone. This is a new thing that's come into my life, but it's totally made me stop using any other highlighter. This is the Hourglass Ambient Strobe Light palette. It's a trio. There's 3 highlighters in here, and I can actually use kind of all of them. This one at the end here is more like a blush topper for me, but these two, I love to mix them. I love to use this one just on its own. There's just something so wonderful about this formula. I really do like it a lot, and it gives that kind of glass skin effect. I'm wearing like 3 highlighters right now, and like they're not all the ones that I'm mentioning today actually, but I have it like right on the high points, and this is just really good. Sometimes my skin is like a little more textured, a little dry, and this, despite being a powder and a baked powder, it just always looks really smooth, and I think it's quite nice. I'm sorry if we're in a totally different position suddenly. Everything just fell. This is the last highlighter I wanted to talk about, and I don't even think they make these anymore, and that's why I hate ColourPop, because everything is discontinued. But this is the Super Shock Cheek in the shade Counting Sheep, and this is my dream glittery highlight. I love glittery highlighters so much. It just kind of adds a like special pop if you're like going out at night, if there's like a special event, something like that. It just is a little more special. And this is the best one. It has that really nice metallic tone to it. It's like Flexitarian, which is like super famous ColourPop highlighter, but with glitter. And I just really, really like it, and I really hope they bring some good stuff back, because they've gotten rid of a lot of good stuff recently. This category is eyeshadow, which was difficult for me. I definitely own the most eyeshadow out of anything. eyeshadow is just one of my favorite things to play with. I think there's so many different formulas and colors and undertones and tones and textures in eyeshadow that it's really difficult to narrow it down, especially in palettes that are more interesting. But if I really had to narrow it down, I did it. I narrowed it down to 3, and these 3 still don't have absolutely everything I would want in an eye collection, but I think that I can mix tones between these palettes really well to create the kind of thing that I would want if I wanted something that's not necessarily here. First palette is this one. This is such an oldie but a goodie. This is the Desi and Katie Friendcation palette from Dose of Colors, and I really like this one because it has true neutrals in it. These browns here are true neutrals. It is these pink shades, which are really nice. They're kind of like a berry tone. This champagne color is really pretty. It is this olive, which I think is super interesting. It has kind of a gold reflect to it. I love that one. And it also has this black and this kind of like blue purple shifty thing, which is a cool, interesting shade. And I think this palette is kind of like my everything palette if I really had to be like one palette. The next one should not be much of a surprise. This is the Pat McGrath Mothership 5. This is the warm toned situation one. This kind of like warm toned crease shade is really, really nice. It has this kind of aubergine eggplant shade. This shade right here I need in a single from Pat McGrath. It's this kind of like taupey metallic thing, and that's my like #1 go-to quick eye look, is just to take a taupey metallic all over the lid, blend out the edges, and go. It has a gold, which is actually not my kind of like go-to thing, but I do like to mix golds with blues. I think that's such an interesting kind of color combo, especially on brown eyes. And then it has these kind of like topper colorful shades. This one right here is so unique. It's this pink, gold, green, like kind of like red almost. Like, it's really interesting, and I just have never seen anything else like it ever. I think it's something that makes this super special. Also, the pink in here is one of my favorite pinks. I've worn it to so many special events in my life. I put that all over my lid at prom last year, and I just really, really like that color. And then this topper shade here is this kind of like clear gold color. It's really interesting. And the red as well. This is like a really nice true red, but it's kind of smoky. It has like a smoky undertone. It's just very fascinating, very interesting. This palette just has so many textures going on in it, textures I can pair with other things. That's why I think it's so special. This palette, which I'm actually wearing on my eyes today, this is the, I decorated it, of course. This is the e.l.f. XJ Kissa To The Rescue palette. I love J. Kissa. I loved her first collab with e.l.f. And this one just kind of blew that one out of the water. This is the perfect rainbow palette. You can, of course, mix colors, and there's literally every color of the rainbow. I'm wearing today the shades Firefly and Vegan on my lids, and then in the outer corner a little bit the shade Peaky. It's just like my perfect green look. These are so pigmented, and I cannot believe that this is e.l.f. I actually cannot believe it, because the way these colors perform is honestly like something you'd find in like a Visit Art palette. It's crazy. It's so good. And these metallics are actually really interesting. Some of them have more texture to them. Like this blue shade Bailey has so much texture to it. It's really cool. I think this palette is a great palette to use on its own if you want to do just a straight up colorful look, or with a neutral palette you can kind of mix the colors into the neutrals to create a more subdued colorful look. And the middle row here is that, whoa, is that more like subdued color, like muted, a little bit deeper. So you can do like a strong warm toned look with this, but the shades Pepper, Zuma, and Paloma, they're more like neutrally almost. I just think it's really good. My go-to eyeliner and mascara. I am not a person that has many mascaras open at once. I think it's wasteful because they dry out so quickly. But the Voluminous Lash Paradise from L'Oreal in the shade Blackest Black is just my go-to mascara. I was using the Colourpop one for a while, and I do like that one in the shade Brownie Points, and I think theoretically I would have both because they are different colors. And I don't think this comes in a brown actually, but if it did I would get it in the brown. It's just such a good mascara. I really like it. It's affordable, so every time I buy mascara I don't need to be spending like $30 on the Monster Big by Lancome, even though that is my kind of like favorite mascara. It's just too expensive. It dries out in like months, you know, but I just think this is a really, really good one, and on me it wears well. I like the length it gives volume, hence the name, and it's not clumpy, which is the most important thing for me. I hate clumpy mascara. My go-to eyeliner is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil. I actually haven't worn eyeliner in a while, and if I do, it's just on my upper waterline. But this one in the shade Demolition is like my go-to kind of like natural brown. If I'm just doing a neutral look, or even if I'm not doing a neutral look, I'll just stick this in the waterline. I think it's a lot less harsh than black. I haven't really found my perfect eyebrow product yet. I'm super picky about color and tone and, you know, the like size of the tip of the pencil or whatever. But this one from e.l.f. actually comes pretty close. This is just the e.l.f. brow pencil in the shade Deep Brown, and this is like my perfect eyebrow color. It's brown, but it's not too warm. It's not too cool where it looks kind of gray, and it's dark, and I just put like a really small amount in, and I just kind of brush my eyebrows, and just kind of it. I have a lot of eyebrow hairs. I don't have like super thick kind of like Cara Delevingne eyebrows, but I do like a thicker eyebrow look, and I think that this color is really nice for my eyebrows. I always hate when browns are kind of red. This one just has a good amount of like tone and color to it. It's only $3. So lip is probably the hardest category for me to do because there's so much variant in lip products in texture, color, tone, and you just get one. So on like an eyeshadow palette where has like, you know, 10 or 20 shades in there, lip products just like one color. So I feel like no matter who you are, you definitely have like several lip colors. And as like a longtime lip junkie, I don't really know what a normal lip collection would look like. But if I had to pick certain items, it would be these. For a clear lip gloss, these from Tower 28 are so good, and I like the colored ones too, and I would probably have them all anyway. But this one in the shade Chill is just the perfect clear gloss. I like clear gloss because you can just put it on its own if you're being lazy, or you can put it on top of any other lip color to transform it, make it glossy, to make it more balmy. This is the best clear lip gloss. For lip tints, these are ones that have just always been go-tos and favorites of mine. These are the YSL Volupté Liquid Color Balm. This one is in number 8, which is like a fuchsia pink, and this one is in number 10, which is like a plum color, which is like my favorite. And they smell like watermelon candy. If you don't like watermelon candy scent, you won't like these because they do smell kind of strongly of watermelon candy, like basically every YSL lip product does, but that's like my favorite scent. Specifically, like the YSL one is so good. But these are really nice. They stay for a really long time, but they're comfortable because they are more balmy. They're more pigmented, so they're not like a sheer balm. There's definitely a sheerness to them, but they are also more on the pigmented side, if that makes sense. And then for a colored gloss that's sheer, I'm going to have to go with the Pat McGrath glosses. There's so many shades in these. I have like the minis too. There's just so many shades, so many textures. It's just a really good line of lip gloss, and this one in the shade Divine Rose is like one of my all-time favorite lip colors. It's that perfect like pinky lip color. It's really good, and these have a really subtle scent, which I appreciate because I am sensitive to fragrance. It's just like a little bit vanilla-y, and it doesn't linger or anything. These do stay nice on the lips. They don't get weird or gross or tacky. They're just a really good formula, and this one's more of like the pearl formula. There's like a slight shimmer in there, and this one's more like the glitter formula. This one's in Bronze Venus, but I think these are really nice and shiny and have good color, but are still sheer, and I also like that sparkle factor. And then lipstick. This is a hard one for me, but if I had to pick one line of lipsticks that I could just go with any shade in the whole line of lipsticks and it would be good. I'm gonna go with the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. I think this is not an uncommon thing. I've heard a lot of people be like, these are the best, and they are. I have 3 different formulas from her. These are the Velvet formulas in the shade Velvet Ribbon. I should probably open these. Velvet Ribbon, which is like a true red, which is kind of like a staple, like everyone needs that. And then Velvet Decade, which is this really interesting kind of deep brown, but like a little bit purple color, which is something I love. I didn't even know I loved it. And then I'm actually wearing this right now, Velvet Muse, which is my perfect My Lips But Better nude. This is my perfect nude. I literally never, Lisa Eldridge. This goes out to you. I've searched my whole life, my whole makeup life, 7 years for a nude lipstick, and this is it. This is my perfect nude. It's amazing. I just like to kind of blot it on. Maybe I'll do like a it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Those are all the Velvet formula, so it has a really soft matte formula, which is something I usually don't like. But something about this matte formula is so good, and I've actually often put this gloss on top of it, the Chill Gloss from Forever 28, just to like make them glossy or balmy if I want that color, and I really like that combo. And then these are the other formulas from her. This is Skyscraper Rose, which is a matte formula. It's not the Velvet formula, it's just matte, and this is a wonderful like fuchsia shade. It's really good. It's like really brightening on my skin tone. In my current profile picture here, which if I someday change it, you'll see on my Instagram, because I'll always keep these pictures up because Lisa Eldridge actually shared them, which is like, oh. But it's the lip color I'm wearing there. It's just the perfect pink on my skin tone. And then this one is her more like sheer, kind of like glossy lipstick formula. This is Love of My Life, and I hope she does more shades in this formula because I love this formula so much. This is another pink, but it is more sheer, and it has that more kind of like dewy creaminess to it. It's not like a cream lipstick. It's definitely more sheer, dewy, a little bit balmy, and I just think that it's magnificent, and she needs to come out with more colors in that formula because I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed coming on this little ride with me, looking at the products that I think are perfect for a minimalist makeup collection, someone that still loves makeup, is inspired by makeup, but you can only have a few products. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. That helps the video the most. And also comment below. Tell me about your kind of favorite makeup things. If you could like only keep one eyeshadow palette, what would it be? So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and